It's about that time, right? It's been long enough. Everyone was expecting me to drop another Hassan video one of these days, so here I am. Okay, I was gonna talk about Hassan back when it got leaked that his dad worked as the vice president for a Fortune 500 company called Sambancy Holding for over 24 years, and it got confirmed that his father is quite literally a billionaire, which is so funny because the dude's entire existence and career is a LARP to the maximum level. Like, he went to play Among Us with AOC, who's a congresswoman in New York, whose entire political career is kind of based off of this notion of making the rich pay their fair share. AOC is like a democratic socialist, right? So she obviously wants to increase taxes on the rich and the wealthy. And Hassan is like, oh yeah, I agree with that 100%. Meanwhile, he's like, what, making tens of millions of dollars a year, and his father is a billionaire, and then his uncle is like a high-ranking member of the Young Turks Network, which is a very successful left-wing political news outlet. So if we're talking about making the rich pay, you better get your wallet out, buddy. He could literally do the thing that he wants rich people to do, which is pay. He wants rich people to pay more taxes and, you know, put money back into the system, right? It's like, okay, well then you can do it. Like, go ahead. No one is stopping you. You don't need the government to raise taxes on you in order for you to, you know, out of your own free will, decide to give money back to the government or donate to a homeless shelter or the disenfranchised or any class of people you claim to represent with your political ideology. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having money, regardless of what Hassan will tell you, which I think is the funniest part of this all, because a lot of his talking points revolve around the idea that there's some sort of inherent unethical thing about having money or property or just like a lot of wealth. He doesn't think there's any ethical consumption under capitalism, and that all people that have acquired a lot of wealth have had to exploit people through the process of acquiring that wealth, okay? If you're rich, chances are you fucked over a lot of people in doing so. Now, this is a view that Hassan champions very proudly and very strongly. It's like the backbone of his entire career. He heavily LARPs as someone who just has the most resentment for the richest people ever. Okay, they've screwed over the working man. The top 1% control everything, and they're the worst ever. So he constantly needs to be like self-analyzing to make sure he's coming across as relatable and as normal as possible to the average person, because God forbid he comes across as an out-of-touch millionaire, an out-of-touch member of the top 1%. That would kind of just kill his entire momentum and would leave his fans scratching their heads wondering, is this guy even on our side? Like, he's saying all the right things that we agree with, but I mean, he does have money and he's kind of saying some stuff that I've never heard any of my, you know, working class or middle class friends say. He does sound kind of out of touch, and he had a moment like that recently on stream, which I think is so funny. He basically kind of did the thing that those day in the life of a small Twitch streamer people were doing, where he said streaming is harder than a 9 to 5. I mean, not directly, but that's kind of what he said. So you have to see this clip. He goes, streaming drains the soul out of you in a way that a normal job would never. Like, dude. Okay, yeah, let's just take a look at this clip.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean?
I can't let the clip play entirely, bro, because when he drops the you know what I mean, I just instinctively I'm like, no, I don't. You need to explain further because it's not looking too good for you right now. Dude, your wagey audience is like, what the fuck? What do you mean? I get home and I'm like, fuck the system, okay? I'm working my ass off and I have this guy on Twitch now, this fucking billionaire telling me that I don't have the soul sucked out, out of a long days of work.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will. So,
dude, hit the oil rig, okay? See how you like it. Go be a plumber. Go clean toilets. I want you to work at a 7-Eleven and have to deal with tweakers coming in, stealing shit. Tell me how streaming sucks the soul out of your body and makes it impossible for you to live as a functioning member of society. After working as a 7-Eleven cashier where you've had your store robbed twice in a week and you've had to like consider using lethal force on the person in your store because you're fearing for your own personal safety. This is what I'm talking about when I say the mask slips, because this is the definition of out of touch. I would never, ever tell anybody who's working a job that my job is, you know, just talking into a microphone and sitting on my ass is somehow harder or more soul-sucking than anything else they're doing. The morbid irony of this is Hassan has taken time out of his streams to call out other, like, wealthy creators for, you know, appearing out of touch and sounding out of touch and whatever, right? Rich people just don't get the struggle of the working man. Chat, am I right? Am I right? It's like, dude, look at this clip. This video is obviously obviously old, but it's called This Billionaire Fail Son Makes the Case for Wealth Distribution, and it's him reacting to this video. If you guys were back on like the internet in 2019, this video was doing so much numbers because of how cringy it was. It was this guy who was like, oh, I was born to my dad who's a billionaire, and I basically just never have to worry about money ever, so I just party all day and fly around in private jets. And Hassan is taking time to roast this video and basically call this guy out of touch and say this is whack, but it's like, dude, he's really the same person, and he just pretends that he isn't.
Tell me that you are currently living a middle class life, and you look at this, and I'm sure a lot of you in the chat are currently going, well, you know what? I want this life. You know what? One day I want to get this life for myself. Well, there's another option, okay? Take it. Take it away from those who flex it in your face. Take it away from those who only occupy this space that could comfortably provide shelter for dozens of people for the entire year, and yet it is empty for the most part, so that this dipshit can have a party over the weekend, dude.
Rules for thee and not for me. You bought a $200,000 Porsche when you could have bought a, I don't know, $1,000 used Facebook Marketplace car to get you from point A to point B. From that money that you could have given to homeless shelters, and what did you say? Dozens of people could have had a place to sleep. And also, you gotta love what he's saying to his chat. He's trying to get them riled up. Like, yeah, just go take it. Go take this from them, okay? Tax them. It's like, hey, bro, this you? Like, should I just camp out in your backyard? Like, do I just get to chill in your swimming pool? You said take it, right? So I'm gonna take the room that you're not occupying in your house. Okay, I think I'm gonna take the guest room. I like the AC set at 70 degrees, and I want a nice fluffy weighted blanket. Okay, don't bother me. If you do, I will expose you for not being the socialist that you claim to be. You said take it. I'm following your own rules.
Video game, take it.
I've always hated how just because someone is born into a family of wealth, people automatically label them as a spoiled brat. Yes, my dad.
The fuck? Wait.
I'm a little murky on the details. Like, I don't think he's never fully like brought it up. You know what I mean? But he was successful. I mean, he was like lobbying the Turkish government. You know, he was like the right-hand man in a holding group. You know what I mean? He was like, he had some pretty serious jobs.
My dad has a private jet, and I love flying in it. Yes, my dad has a mansion and cars, and I love making videos with them. Who wouldn't?
Hassan definitely wouldn't. I mean, he literally did the exact same thing. He has nice cars, and he did a 6-hour stream with one of them. So there you go. Obviously, it's different. Hassan definitely worked for the money that he spent on this car, and I'll give him credit for it. I'm not going to say that Hassan, didn't work hard to get the money. I mean, he streams a lot, and, he made the money for the car, so that's good. But the point of this reaction was to distance himself from the person he's reacting to, but in reality, all I'm doing is drawing more and more comparisons. Like, there's way more similarities than differences here. He was probably sent that video by somebody in his chat, right, with the entire purpose of it being something that he can point at and say, wow, he's out of touch. He's just a rich guy who doesn't get it. And then meanwhile, it's just like, wait, I'm kind of like the same person.
Dude, they weren't gonna fucking do it, dude. How dare our billionaire family send us to the world's best fucking school to develop further networking connections among the ruling class that travel from country to country? What's the fucking name that Lenin had a name for this? I believe
I believe the name is Hassan Piker.
I came to America when I was 18.
Got it.
I would visit the United States sometimes for summers and whatnot, which I would consider to be one of the benefits, at least. You know what I mean?
Ruling class that travel from country to country.
The United States sometimes for summers and whatnot.
Best fucking school to develop further networking connections.
I already got the many benefits of growing up and getting the best education. You know what I mean?
Best fucking school to
best education. You know what I mean?
I never limit myself. I'm wildly ambitious. You don't need to put yourself inside a box, especially in this day and age. But like,
especially when your father is a billionaire. I wonder where his mom is. His mom's probably fucking dead in a ditch. He doesn't give a shit, dude. He's a fucking billionaire's son, dude. He's a floating head, okay? Thank God he's breaking all of the boxes that he was in as a spoiled dipshit child, fail son of a fucking billionaire. God knows, dude, we don't have enough fucking spoiled dipshit fail sons in this country or on this planet. I love this, dude. Thank God he's breaking that mold.
A part of me can't tell if he's playing this up for his chat just to get them riled up, or if he's like has this internalized rich phobia where like he's so, I guess, like ashamed of the fact that he grew up rich and, you know, he like read Lenin and Marx and now he's like, shit, I feel horrible about my upbringing, and so he has to like combat that on a regular basis. Like he needs to prove to himself that he's like a good person, so he shits on other rich people, or if he's just doing this for his chat. I don't know, but it's kind of funny to watch. It's like a circus act, a balancing act. He's spinning 2 tables on his hands. Remember when everyone was so upset at Rice Gum for making it rain on the homeless? I mean, rightfully so. That's like a super obnoxious thing to do. But the only difference between Rice Gum and Hassan is that Rice Gum will walk by a homeless person and make it rain on them. Meanwhile, Hassan will walk by a homeless person, get asked like, hey, can I have $1? And he'll be like, he puts his hand on the homeless guy's shoulder and is like, dude, I'm with you, brother. The rich need to pay. And then like $100 bill falls out of Hassan's pocket, and then he's like, oh, whoopsies. And then he picks it up, puts it back in his pocket, and the homeless guy's like, what was that? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. But yeah, the rich need to pay. I'm fighting with you, brother. Have a good one. And then he just like leaves.